Rubella. Rubella is a mild exanthematous fever which is characterized by macular rash and lymphadenopathy. It is also called as the German measles. And here the disease in itself is not very fatal, but when the pregnant lady is infected with disease, it can lead to congenital rubella. That is, the children that are born to this infected mothers may show congenital rubella. And the most important complication with this congenital rubella is the teratogenic property of this disease, which gives the complication of triad, that is the deafness, the cataract and the cardiac defects in the children or the newborn babies. So the first identification of this teratogenic property was given by Greg, an Australian ophthalmologist, or the doctor who had seen that there is an increased infection of this cataract in the newborn babies who were born to an infected mothers. So here the complication that was seen in these babies were triad in nature, involving the cataract, cardiac defect and the deafness. And more knowledge about this particular disease has to wait after the isolation of the organism in the tissue culture in 1962. Coming to the properties of this virus, it is a viral disease. The virus is highly pleomorphic in nature, but sometimes it shows a spherical morphology measuring about 50 to 70 nanometer. It has a single stranded RNA as a genome, which is an envelope virus having hemagglutinin spikes or peplomers, and it has the ability to agglutinate RBCs of the guinea pigs, rabbits and human RBCs at a temperature of -4 degrees centigrade. It is the organism that has structural morphology with the toga virus, and hence it is included under the family Togaviridae with a single genus Ruby virus. Coming to the resistance of this organism or the virus can be easily inactivated when exposed to chemicals such as chloroform, formaldehyde, deoxycholate, etc. And they can be inactivated when exposed to a heat about 56 degrees centigrade. And you can preserve this organism at -60 degrees centigrade. Coming to the cultivation and the host range of this organism can be isolated on a primary cell lines and in a continuous cell lines. Here the primary isolation is usually done in the rabbit kidney, that is RK13, and for continuous cell lines you can go for baby hamster kidneys BHK21, you can go for Vero cell lines, and the cytopathic effect of this organism is very slow. And in order to identify this organism, you have to go for a phenomena which is called as the interference, which is usually carried out with a challenging virus that is called as the ECO11 virus. So the cytopathic effect here is not because of the syncytial formation that you can see in the other viruses, but here the cytopathic effect is very slow, which can be identified only with the interference phenomena. And here the organism can be induced to produce disease in the experimental animals such as the monkeys or the chimpanzees, but the teratogenic property of this particular disease can be, or the virus can be seen in the pregnant rabbit, where the organism will have the ability to cross the placenta and cause the congenital rubella in the fetus. Coming to the clinical features of this disease, it has the incubation period of about 2 to 3 weeks, where you can see a generalized rash first developing at the forehead and then descending downwards from the forehead to the neck to the other part of the body. They leave behind the extremities, that is the hands and the soles. So you cannot see the development of this exanthematous characteristic feature of this disease on the hands and the soles, but all over the part of the body you can see the rashes. And here it involves non-tender enlargement of the posterior cervicals. There is no oblique spots that can be seen as in the measles, and the disease is usually seen caused to the people who are in the extreme ages, that is either they cause to the children at a very small stage or to the older persons because of the decrease in the immunity. And the other complication associated with this disease is arthralgia and arthritis. The disease is usually studied in detail and found to be involving the genetics of the human, that is, it is because of the chromosomal breakage and the inhibition of mitosis leads to this particular disease. The disease is usually transmitted via the inhalation, that is when you inhale the viruses, it can lead to the development of the disease. And the disease, the organism is shed in the infected person in the throat for 7 days and before the appearance of the rash. And similarly, you can see the viremia in the early stages of the disease again before the appearance